Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone. Thank you for coming DevRel Asia 2020, and thank you for listening my talk. Today, I talking about what is a brand and relationship with developer relation. At first, introduce myself. I'm Atsushi from Japan. I'm president of the MOONGIFT and DevRel agency. And I'm chief organizer at DevRel Asia 2020, and I organize some DevRel conference like this. So DevRelCon Tokyo since 2017, co-organizer of the DevRelCon Earth. I have some social media accounts, GoofMe. I use same name on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, GitHub. So please follow me and ask me anything. So what is a brand? A brand is not a tangible thing. So you may have the image of the brand, but you may not have an answer for it. So let's first explain what is a brand. The brand originated from the branding of cow and other livestock. They were branded as proof they have now their own livestock. This is a brand, right? Nowadays, the word brand often refers to the logo of famous company, service or product. A brand is the ability to evoke the image of something that can be understood by looking at the brand. So, simply put, the brand is the power of mind share. With the power of your brand, consumer will find out you quickly, and it's a seed that in developer's mind. And the brand is also sign of trust. A product or service with a strong brand can be said to have a high level of trust from developers. So here is today's agenda. In this talk, I'm talking about the brand benefits, value, and purpose of the brand building. On the other hand, I won't talk about brand strategy or tactics. This is a different way to proceed depending on individual product. First of all, the benefit. Once you understand the benefits, you understand importance of building a brand. This is a brand ranking by Interbrand Inc. So note that this is for consumers. So it's not the same as for developers. However, technology companies dominate the top 5 companies on the list. At the number 12, Facebook. At the number 13, IBM. So we can see that technology companies are strengthening their brand and gaining mind share. If you look at in the term of developers, Apple's brand is also very strong. There is a term in Japan, Apple devotees, who are fascinated by Apple and jump on the bandwagon as soon as a new product is released. I'm one of those people, and I like the way Apple aggressively release progressive products. I love that attitude, and most of the time, through the first products suffer from a lot of problems. That's a part of the Apple brand. Think about Amazon or rather AWS. There are 45% of top cloud vendors, and AWS has released a number of features as well. The developers combine them together like a puzzle to develop services. Each one of those technology is present for developers, and they are fascinated by AWS. One of the attractions of AWS is the stability of its system and continuity of functionalities. They rarely stop working. the code you've written in the past will continuously to run constantly. Developers are able to constantly work on the new developments without having to fix released features due to vendor issues. This stability and continuity plays a huge role in brand building. What about Microsoft? About 10 years ago, Microsoft was hated by some developers, but with a new CEO, the message has changed. Since they've joined open source softwares and aren't afraid to change the dynamic. Visual Studio Code has become one of the top programming editors in the world, and Edge has stopped developing on its own, and it's now based on the Chromium. Edge is rapidly gaining browser of sharing, and they are also growing in the cloud market with more products that developer love, like WSL. Google has always been developer-oriented companies. Many developers have hacked their services and made useful softwares. Android is changing the future of smartphones, and Google Chrome and Chromium are changing the web. However, Google is also known to have some difficulty with service continuously, creating and then shutting down similarly named services like such as Google Videos, Picasso, and Hangouts. It can be difficult to build trust with when there is a question mark over continuously. So you can see how having a strong brand like this can help you build your company's value. Now that you understand the importance of the brand, we will move on. So first of all, the benefit. Once you understand the benefit, you understand the importance of building the brand. There are three main benefits of branding the brand. Decreasing acquired user cost, and two, increasing the LTVs, and three, differentiation from alternative services. First, let's talk about the cost of acquiring new users. If you have gained mind shares, developers will choose your service without comparing it to about. Loyal developers will also be more likely to recommend your service to others. The cost of acquiring users by word of mouth is significantly less than advertisement. Next, improve LTV. If you have a strong brand, users will be happy to continue to use your service or product. They will even upsell your service with additional features. They will also continue to use your service because of the higher switching cost to other services. The outflow to other services is not simply a negative one. It's +1 for your competitors and -1 for you, with a total impact of 2 points. The last one is benefit. The brand is a differentiator from other alternative services. The brand is reason to choose. It's a chosen not only for its price and features. Users choose services by brand. For example, you wouldn't want to dare to use an uncool product without a brand. Even if the price is little higher, you will choose products that are cool to use and smart to look. In addition, user will protect or support your product when similar products come out. They use social media or blog article to explain that a clone product is not yours, looks like yours. This will be more convincing opinions for developers than what you are trying to say so hard. Now, let's talk about the purpose of brand building, which is important to consider. This is simple. It has a way to increase in the company's profit. The first is increase certifications. Improves satisfaction means developers and more willing to pay more. Even if you raise your price, fewer developers will leave. Secondly, you will have a better relationship with your developers. It will make developers stop caring about other services and keep using yours. As a result, LTV will be increased, leading to increased profit. Thirdly, it improves your reputation. A good reputation will attract new developers who will be drawn to that reputation. By reducing the cost of new acquisitions, it improves your bottom line. So let's talk about value. These are two perspectives on the value, the developer's perspective and the company's perspective. The first one is developer's perspective. The developer's view of brand value is based on the difference between the benefits and the cost. What is recognizable is a value that is easy to understand. For example, feature and price. But there are some values that are hard to recognize. The value that attracts everyone's attention or provides new insight. It is hard to quantify. On the other hand, there are individual costs as well. For example, running cost, coding time, and even their careers that spend their time to use your product. In contrast, this is a brand value companies. The first thing a company considers to be the value is value of product. Maximizing price value is a relevant to marketing. The product values combined with content value and relationship value create value of brand. Maybe if you are involved in the developer relations, you come across the word, you've had it. Yes, it's a content and relationships. It's the same as content to write blog article or maintenance the documentation and relationship to remain the community or handling hackathons. In other words, DevRel takes care about the two main elements of brand building. You could say the what we do. So DevRel enhances brand building. I was originally interested in brand building and was doing some research. When I found out about content value and relationship value, it has a big impact for me because that's exactly what DevRel delivers, this content value and relationship value. Let me explain in more detail. What is the content value? It's the information that raises the value of your product. It's a story that makes they want to tell someone, or a story that is captivations. A story that makes they feel something different is also good. And in the case of open source softwares, it can be a story that makes developers want to help. Similarly, relationship value is that raise the value of your product. The experiences of developing softwares using your service, participating and communicating with user groups, getting offshore or un-offshore supports, and contribute in the development of open source softwares all lead to relationships. Content value and relationship value are only meaningful when the two comes together. But often the first contract is content. And as developers use your product continuously, they feel the relationship and come to like your product even more deeply. So what is the content value and relationship value? For example, content value is information that company provides that makes your product more attractive. It could be a concept movie, conceptually designed blog post, or the documents, etc. Relationship value is experiences-driven measures such as social medias, user groups, and hands-on activities. Both of these elements supports your product values, improve your brand power. Here is a couple of points to explain. First, understanding that B2B and B2C, the terms of condition of your product or services will vary depends on who are targeting. In the B2C, individual developers will have fewer stockholders, but less stability. If you are dealing with a company, you have a limited market to fight on. Analyze your target audiences and tailor your branding to them. To communicate with community will also be different. Make sure you run your target audiences and your developers. Lastly, trust is not built quickly. It improves the stability of the system, high responsible, and also the continuity of services. Time is a medium to long term is essential to build solid trust. So, when is the best timing to start building your branding? This is a difference for new or existing product. First, for new, it's best to do it when you have a solid concept for your services. If you do it before that, the impact of the pivot will greater. Secondly, for products you've already released, I recommend timing when the spillover to early adopters has settled down. About the stage where you've improved your services in response to early adopter feedback in outright. Final note. Just thinks that brand is accumulation of trust. Trust is like a grain of sand, and it's very hard to build up a mountain of it. Let's say your company offers several services like this. So in this time, the developers of each of these services have a good relationship with you. But suppose that one of your services undermined the trust of your users. Then the trust in the company will be damaged and it will spread to other services, and the failure of one service will have a negative impact on the branding of the entire company. Conversely, if the good relationship is maintained across all of services, the entire company will build a strong trust with the developers. So here is the summary. A brand is a bond between the developers and services. A strong brand can reach the minds of developers quickly. Also, the brand is a multiplier of the value of each product, content, and relationship. And remember, trust is hard to build, but easy to break. Thank you for listening and enjoy the conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Atsushi. It was great talk. Yeah, branding, increasing branding, gaining trust is pretty difficult. I have a couple of questions. So, you were talking about building the branding takes some time. So, how long would you say, from scratch to the build up the branding? How long do you think it takes for the normal company?
Yeah, like if you have a good techniques and good relationship with developer already, you can build the brand just 6 months maybe, but the normal company need 2 years or 3 years or more.
Yeah, you know, investing your time and resources for few years. I mean, multiple years. It's
Yeah.
challenging for a lot of companies, and sometimes you don't have the resources, like you don't have the
Mm-hmm.
humans to operate
Mm-hmm.
the REL laws. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you through the developers from the R&D division, it might make
Yeah.
sense for the engineer itself. So how would you suggest for those companies, if they don't have the resources internally?
Yeah, so I got so many questions from companies. We have no resources, no human to develop. So I advise to them, everyone become to the evangelist, right? So most of startup companies, they have to love their product a lot. So if they don't love their product, they should escape from the company, I think.
Yeah, I think that makes sense a lot. If you don't love the product or your services, you cannot be a really developed person. Yeah, as one of the
Yes,
developed people, yeah, developed people in this community. Yeah, I really like my company's product. That's why I'm
yeah.
doing the develop stuff. So yeah, really makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool, cool.
See.
Um, Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, we have the at the end of the event session time. So if you have any questions, please ask him on the Twitter. There were a2 hashtag or there were AG hashtag. So yeah, thank you, Atsushi again.
Okay, thank you.